Hey, it's Lee Richey, and you know, when Post Malone tells you to check somebody out, you better do it.
Guys, check out SYDNEY IRVING's new CD, Unfashioned Creatures. I'm gonna check this out tonight, and everybody go check her out because he's fucking amazing.
Please welcome SYDNEY IRVING is my guest. Hello, SYDNEY. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Lee. Thank you so much for having me today. It's such a pleasure to talk with you.
I am a fan. I'm telling you, man, if a major label doesn't scoop you up soon, they're going to be kicking themselves. I'll tell you that.
You're very kind. Yeah, my team's always open to it. Right now, I release my music and do it all by myself, which is awesome. But you can find all my music wherever you get music, Spotify, Apple Music, or my website, SYDNEYIRVINGmusic.com.
She's got a great new single out, which we're going to talk about. You Can't Forget About Me, which we've actually been playing here on Froggy 105.3. So folks can listen to that. And the coolest thing is that you're from our neck of the woods, out of Syracuse.
Syracuse, New York, born and raised.
The heart of country music.
That's right.
Now, you've been doing this for a while. When did you start singing?
So I got my first guitar when I was 9 years old. I got it for my 9th birthday. Do you remember the game Angry Birds?
Yeah, I do.
So I had an Angry Birds themed birthday party, and my parents had gotten me my first guitar.
Was it a real guitar, or was it like one of those kid guitars?
So it was a white Ibanez electric guitar.
It was a real guitar.
Oh yeah, real guitar.
Nice.
My dad's always loved rock, and my mom's always been a big country fan. So I think I definitely grew up around a lot of different types of music, pop, folk, anything. And so it sat in the corner for a while. I started lessons the next year, and I was always a very shy kid. So I would go to lessons and I would not talk. And my guitar teacher would be like, well, she didn't say anything today, but we learned some stuff.
And yeah, it seemed like it went well.
Exactly. And then I got really into Taylor Swift, and I just loved her songwriting, her stage presence. I just thought she was so cool. And then I later discovered Tom Petty, who's one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, yeah.
I decided I wanted to give singing a shot.
Do you remember when you first performed in front of an audience? How'd that go? I mean, being a shy kid.
Well, so when I was 12 years old, I did a summer camp in Syracuse at a place called the Red House.
Okay.
And so it's called Rock Camp. And so all the kids get together and they put bands together. And at the end of the 2 weeks, there's a concert and you invite your friends and family. And each of the bands writes 3 songs and performs them.
Okay.
And so I went to the camp and I was like, you know what, I'm going to write a song. And I went home one night. I wrote this song about a breakup. I'd never experienced a breakup, brought it in and everyone learned it. And I'm not sure I told my parents that I was going to be singing. I told them I'd written a song. So they showed up to the performance and they were like, all right, SYDNEY, go ahead, sing your song. And they were like, what is going on?
How cool. Were you nervous?
I was like, you know what? This is my chance. I'm going to just give it a go and see what happens. And after I finished the performance, my guitar teacher had come with his wife and they were like, I didn't know you talked. I guess you sing now. That's weird, but we're going to do that now.
On a side note, you're doing very well at talking. So
thank you.
Thumbs up to you. Thumbs up to you. We're talking to SYDNEY IRVING, great singer out of the Syracuse area. Got a single out, You Can't Forget About Me. We're going to go ahead and play that right now and then come back and we'll comment on it. This is SYDNEY IRVING and her new single on Froggy 105.3.
If I turned right on this road, I'd drive by your house. And it doesn't matter much, but that's what my mind does. And yeah, I wonder sometimes how you think of me. Are the memories good and wholesome? Do they bleed? Well, go pretend you don't remember me. We promised friends, one thing will never be. 'Cause we both want sincere apologies. But however hard you try, you can't forget about me. God, we never said things we'd ever mean. Making hay by talking and tree. Oh, forever you had waited for me, and I die living up to what you thought I'd be. Well, go pretend you don't remember me. We promised friends, one thing will never be. 'Cause we both want sincere apologies, but however hard you try, you can't forget about me. Forget about me. You don't remember me. We promised friends, one thing will never be. 'Cause we both want sincere apologies, but however hard you try, you can't forget about me. You can't forget about me.
It's Froggy 105.3. That is SYDNEY IRVING, and You Can't Forget About Me. Well done. Great song.
Thank you so much. Thank you for playing it.
Tell us about the song. Where'd it come from?
I'd written that song a couple of years ago,
Okay.
and it originally started as a ballad, a very sad ballad. And when I brought it into the studio, we turned it into this poppy, like almost flipped it on its head to be more of like a confidence thing. I had written it about a breakup that ended without closure, and you're over it, but you're always kind of like, I wonder if they think about it. And then you kind of like end up thinking about it too, but it's like, you can't forget about me.
Yeah. I tell you, that is the new single. You've got some other things that you've released over the years. Unfashioned Creatures is a CD that you have out, and I've heard the whole thing cover to cover. It's phenomenal. Love listening to it. Folks can get a hold of this stuff, like you said, at all the streaming platforms and on your website too, SYDNEYIRVINGmusic.com.
That's it. That's the most current album, and you can find that wherever you get your music. I recently, back in July, released my modern day remake of Dolly Parton's Jolene.
I was going to talk to you about that, because how gutsy was it? I mean, I've got to say, when I saw that you did a cover of Jolene, I didn't expect much. Nothing against you, but it's an iconic song. I mean, who can do that justice? But then I heard what you did with it, and you gave it a brand new life. You really did.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can.
Thank you. That means a lot. I think Dolly Parton is one of the greatest songwriters of all time, one of the greatest musicians of all time, and I've always just
Greatest people of all time. She's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd love to meet her someday. So I went down to Nashville, recorded my modern day remake of Jolene. Definitely a slightly different take on the song. It's a little more like angsty, I guess.
The thing I love about the way you sing it is, I mean, you can feel kind of the desperation in your voice when you're singing, like, please don't take my man. You know, I mean, you're really giving it your all.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's kind of the way we wanted to take it, because I feel like Dolly Parton did it so well, you know, and I feel like if you're going to try to attempt to redo such a classic song, you have to take it in a slightly different direction.
Do you know if Dolly's heard your version?
I don't know. I would love if she did, though.
I think she would love it.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope she listens to it.
SYDNEY IRVING is our guest. She's going to be, and I should have mentioned this at the very beginning, but you're all over the place in central New York, but you're going to be down at Tioga Downs in Nichols on Saturday, March 22nd and May 3rd. So there's a couple of opportunities. And I don't know, can we mention that other date? You've got another date in our neck of the woods up in Bolivar.
Yeah, we're gonna announce it right here. I'm gonna be at Sunny Hill Campground. You can find more information at my website, SYDNEYIRVINGmusic.com.
Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you. What has been, since you started this, and this is kind of a tough question probably because it seems like even this early on, you've hit a lot of milestones. What has been like the most exciting thing to happen to you since you started this?
Wow, that's a big question.
I mean, other than this interview.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this interview. Well, back in July, I celebrated my 21st birthday.
Okay.
And I had gotten tickets from my family. They surprised me with tickets to see one of my most favorite bands, which is a band called Midland.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Oh, the best. And they had also gotten me VIP passes. So for the past few years, whenever I play out, I always include one of their songs in my set list.
Okay.
Specifically a song called 14 Gears. So fast forward, we're at the Midland VIP event, and I introduced myself to the lead singer, Mark, and I shared that I'm a singer-songwriter too, and I cover some of their songs when I play out. He looked right at me and he said, well, why don't you come up and do one then? I thought my heart was going to jump out of my chest, Lee. It was so crazy. I had jumped up on stage. They handed me one of their absolutely beautiful guitars and sat down. And we got right down to business. So surreal. It was so surreal, and I just can't thank them enough.
I've actually seen a video. That's on YouTube, right?
It's right on YouTube, yeah.
And you look like you look like you're part of the band. You really do. You just got up there and you just like took it and ran with it.
It was pure adrenaline.
And then they asked you to go on tour with them.
Yes, that would be awesome. That is such a dream. And so I went home that night and saw where people were posting some videos onto social media of the performance. And
oh, wow.
The next morning to 50,000 views. And last time I checked, it was 80,000 views.
That's
so
incredible.
Crazy.
Good for you. That is exciting. 2025. I'm looking at your website and your tour schedule. You are a busy girl. No doubt about it. You're pretty well booked. But what do you hope is the next step for you in your career?
Thank you. Well, I want to keep going out on the road. I love performing live. It's one of my favorite things. I may or may not have a new song coming out in spring, summertime. Wink, wink.
I'm going to take that as a may. Yeah, okay.
Probably not. Maybe so. I don't know.
Maybe so. Who knows?
And I'm just writing so much. I would really love to release a new album very soon, which is in the works. And those are my goals, is just continue connecting with people through music and meeting new people.
SYDNEY IRVING is my guest. She's amazing. SYDNEYIRVINGmusic.com. Check that out. What's the best way for people to, I mean, you're probably all over Facebook and Instagram and all that as well, right?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok at SYDNEY IRVING Music. And you can also check me out on my website, SYDNEYIRVINGmusic.com.
Now, you're doing all this in a healthy way, right? You're not like taking pictures of your food and things like that. And
No.
I mean, I got to hand it to you. You haven't looked at your phone once during this interview, so that's good.
I don't know. I take pictures of my food, but I don't post them because I don't think people really care what I'm eating.
There you go. There will be a time, though, when they will. Trust me.
Yes.
Sydney, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you nothing but the best. Hopefully, I'll get down to one of the shows in the area. But as I talked to you about earlier, the doors open here at Froggy 105.3. If you're ever taking a road trip or passing by, we'd love to have you come by and do a few songs in the studio with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure meeting you and talking with you.
SYDNEY Irving is our guest on Froggy 105.3.